Hello, my name is Tai Fujimura, and I am the founder of Cantilever. And today we're going to look at the 2018 International Monetary Fund Annual Report, which we developed in collaboration with creative agency Fiesty Brown.
Here's the report. It was released in October of 2018 to coincide with the IMF's annual meeting, which took place in Bali last fall. And it is a translation of a sort of traditional print report into a digital format to make the content more immediately accessible, especially for users on mobile screens. And so what we did was we translated the most critical aspects of the print report into this site. And as I mentioned, we partnered with an agency called Fiesty Brown. You can check them out at feistybrown.com. And they did the design for the report. So we were responsible with collaborating with them to sort of determine all the final details of how things should work, and also to write the code. So I want to walk you through what's on the site and discuss a little bit of our approach to each of these areas. So the main navigation slides in from the left over here, and this shows you the overall structure of how the report works. It's centered around a couple key pages. We have our home page here, which has a message from the managing director. You can see the overall layout here. There's a central column, and then there's a sidebar on the right and a sidebar on the left, and that's the case throughout the site. Moving into some of the spotlights, they almost all use pretty much that same layout. We have some infographics. We have the sidebar on the right. We have sidebar elements on the left, and then each of them has a learn layer at the end. We have a little subnav down here to click between the different pages. Some of the pages have little animations in the background, things like that. And the way that Cantilever approaches web development is very beneficial to projects like this, because when we build sites, we don't build a page at a time. We build a system, and then we build pages from that system. So what we did in this case was we built an entire infrastructure for generating pages, and then the actual development of the pages themselves is much simpler, because we've already laid out the framework for how each page, how pages can be generated. But within that framework, we allow for lots and lots of flexibility. And the upside for clients is, first of all, the site's more reliable, because we're not just looking at one page at a time and placing boxes where they need to be on that particular page. We're looking at the entire site design as a whole and determining the best overall framework. So there are much fewer bugs to hunt down at the end, or inconsistencies between different places. And the other major benefit for clients is long-term maintenance. In this case, we wanted to set up the annual report to be code that's usable for future reports, and so it was very important to us to implement strategies that are modular and maintainable and reusable, and that's exactly what we did. So this code base would be the perfect basis for a future report as well, and the client doesn't have to start over in future years. And to show you an example of that sort of adaptable approach, this is how one of the spotlight pages work, but we also have a regional highlights page, which has a slightly different layout, a little bit wider and a little bit more stylized. But we have the exact same grid framework in place to position sidebar elements here as we did there. So the majority of the code that's responsible for positioning those things is shared between the two code bases. We don't have duplicate code that is causing pages to end up being slower or causing potential bugs when one is changed and another is not. So that's one of the great benefits of our approach. So yeah, overall it was a really fun project to work on. We got to dig in on some neat content and define a system that we think works really well, both for this year and hopefully the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe to our channel by pressing the button right there, and we hope to see you next time for our next demo.